doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L Podcast.
Rocking and rolling. We got Philly in the building. What's happening, my boy?
What's poppin', bro? I had to come holler at you.
As Nick knows, High Low Visuals knows, the key to my heart is bringing me clothes. You brought me some clothes, man. First of all, introduce yourself to everybody.
Kyle Roberts from Philly, South Philly specifically.
For sure. And this brand, talk about this brand, man.
Faces Global, it's basically like phases. It was developed like during the pandemic. We was selling masks, and now we got products to support anti-pollution.
Oh,
That's
cool.
our whole concept behind our brand is pollution. Like this hat right here got EMF frequency technology in the inside of it to protect you from radiation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Nick, do you want to do a mic adjustment real quick? Nick's going to adjust your microphone for you real quick.
All right.
Okay, so this hat is special. It's not just a hat. Talk about the hat again.
It's not just a regular hat. It's just got EMF radiation protection in the
how does
inside
that
of
work?
it. It basically got this silver in the inside of it that, you know how people used to wear aluminum foil on their head and they used to think they was crazy and stuff like that. We made it cool now.
Cool. Well, are you the first person to do that?
Yeah.
Talk about what it was needed for. Like, what made you come up with the idea?
Basically, looking into what's going on into the world, like these 5G towers and shit like that, like how like things that you can't see affect you. And that was one of the things that I noticed, that like they was building like these crazy 5G towers around the neighborhood, and it was like, people call them conspiracies or whatever, but some of that should be true, to the point where rays from these towers can affect you. Like if they like placed right on top of you where you live at, you gonna have a hard time sleeping. You won't even know.
So when you created this hat, how were you able to share that with people that that's what it provided?
Basically, like trying to make it cool. People like cool shit, so we make it fly. Like where we from, like it's all about like just putting it on. You know what I mean? So like I'm known for that in my neighborhood, like for putting it on. So like I know that me doing this, I could articulate it well to my peers, you feel me? Because, like, I ain't just no dumb nigga. Like, I ain't trying to be regular, like, basically. Like, I'm not trying to be regular. And, like, I always wanted to start my own clothing brand, like, since I was a kid. Like, I actually had a brand called Swag University when I was in, like, 8th grade, and didn't really pursue it the right way I wanted to. So I always told myself if I got the chance to, like, start another brand, I was going to make sure I was going to include some technology shit into it. Feel me? So this was the perfect opportunity for me to, excel in a specific niche market. You know what I mean? Like,
It's very interesting, man. I've never heard of a hat with technology in it, and it's innovative. And maybe Shark Tank will pick it up or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Get on there. Talk about growing up in Philadelphia, man.
Man, Philly, like, it was rough. It was rough, like, out there. You know what I'm saying? But you create your own fun. You feel me? Like, mind over matter with that shit. Like, you can't let your environment dictate, like, who you gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, even though it will be, it's gonna force you to, but, you just gotta make the best out of shit, man.
Talk about how, how many times have you been to Detroit? You go back and forth?
I've never been here.
This is the first time coming to Detroit?
First time in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit.
Well, it's like, is your business here for, like, marketing and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's cool. What made you gravitate towards Detroit?
Detroit. Well, I know like a couple of the homies, they come to Philly a little bit, and they was always telling me about if I ever came down here, holla at them or whatever. But I just took this moment to, like, come out here and tell people what I got going on, like, I don't really like to stay sitting in one place for too long. Like, I gotta stay busy and be proactive and shit. Like, so, like, coming up here to showcase what's going on back home, you know what I mean? Won't nobody know about me if I don't speak about this shit.
What's the perspective for most people in Philadelphia when they think about Detroit and the music scene?
It's so cold in the day. The first thing I think about. It's so cold in the day. How the fuck we supposed to keep peace?
Yeah.
I grew up on that shit, so like that's all I really know. And they say like the abandoned houses and stuff like that, like the gutter. But I feel like nowadays, like Detroit, the only ones that really talk about getting money in their music, like Detroit artists, like they like specifically them, like they talk about getting to the money, like where I'm from, niggas like to talk about like a whole bunch of killing and bullshit. Like I don't always like hearing that shit. Like I like to talk about and hear that manifestations of getting that money. You know what I mean? Getting to it, like that hustle and bustle. That's what gravitated me towards Detroit. Like a lot of like my whole things that I've been listening to like last year, like been like a lot of Detroit artists, like probably 80% Detroit artists.
Talk about some of the artists that you're listening to.
Payroll Giovanni. I like Skilla Baby lately. I like FMB DZ. I like Tay B. I love like how Tay B growth like was shown through his whole music. Like he showed like he elevated each year.
Yeah.
And I fuck with that. Like Baby Money too. He young and popping it. I fuck with him heavy. I ain't gonna front. Baby World. Yeah, I feel them.
So
Peasy.
in Philadelphia, you guys are like aware of Detroit's underground more so. That's pretty cool because I don't know how familiar we are. Like I don't know. I personally don't know too much about Philadelphia music that much. I don't know what's going on there. What's the scene like for you guys?
Right now, we just got like the dancing wave going on. Like the party songs, like Lil Uzi Wanna Rock and all that. Feel me? Like they got the wave right now with that dancing party music and shit like that. But like it been like shit that we did back in the day as kids. Like it's just the whole world embracing like our sound now, specifically to that. Like for a long time, Young Boys was just on heavy drill wave, heavy on drill shit. Like, but like nowadays, like kids like really having fun again with the shit again. Feel me?
Yeah, it's interesting how you said that too. You were talking about how you're tired of hearing about the violence in the music so much so, and it looks like maybe the people around you or the whole city maybe is kind of gravitating away from the drill music a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it felt like at least. Like, you know what I mean? It seemed like they trying to have fun with it more. Like, it's more party. It's just like, it's turn up time. Like, with the music. I ain't gonna front. The Philly Goats, they like a popular group right now. And like, they kind of got the wave with the whole sound of that party shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good thing, man. It's
Yeah,
too much. You can't be hearing too much nonsense in the music. And not that it's nonsense. Some people are actually living the lives that they're speaking about. But then there's also drill rappers that literally aren't living the life. They just figured out the key, the code to making people listen to them, even though that they have no relatability to the music they're making.
At all. You know what I mean? And it's just like, they love that shit. They'd take that shit all day. They'd take that talking about putting everybody down and degrading shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some better shit now. Like I'm tired of hearing like the same shit, same bullshit. It's just like
I always knew it was gonna run out eventually. I was like drill.
Facts.
I was like drill music is not going to last forever. Nobody's gonna be able to hear just constant like horror. Basically, it's horror. It's not killing people is not like a positive thing. It's not like a thing. It's like this is like it's. I guess the aggression and the emotion behind it makes it exciting to listen to, and the fact that like killing somebody is the highest, like I guess the highest consequence you can deliver to somebody. Right, so I guess that's what the appeal of it is, and it's like kind of barbaric, so it brings that appeal as well. But how long can you listen to that before you just start feeling sick about it? Like what are we talking about?
Like,
I get the line, like a bar here and there, maybe like like Tupac, like he would have a bar here or there about violence or whatever, like what he would do to somebody that offended him, or what he would do to somebody that like is trying to hurt him. But he wouldn't like just bar after bar after bar tell you how he's gonna murk you. Like that's fucked up.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. That's what they doing nowadays. These kids don't know no better. They just stupid.
Talk about how everything started for you entering the music scene.
I really got my first start like real early on. Like I was for rapping on DVD. Like I caught the DVD wave back when I was a kid and shit. Like my mom used to spit. Like my folks was heavy in the mix with like, you know, Beanie Siegel had the wave heavy back in the day or whatever. Like, but like I was on a DVD when I was like 4 years old. But like, I stopped rapping for a long ass time. Like, I wasn't even really no rapper. Like, I just was like on some fly shit for real.
So you were more of like a figure than like a rapper, more like an artist than a straight up rapper.
Yep. Like I ain't really start taking rap serious till I was like I ain't gonna front. I got a video on YouTube when I was 13, spitting and shit. Like, I used to go by Sarah Green. I used to have people call me Sarah Green or whatever. Like that was my first rap name. But like I stopped making music with Sarah Green for a minute. And then I rebranded myself into Kyle Roberts. And that's when I really took it serious. When I was on like 16, really, because I was going through shit and I really needed to speak up. I really needed to speak on shit. Like I really was like going through a lot of pain and shit like that. Like, you know, my folks, like I was getting kicked out and all that shit. Like music was like my outlet, my therapy for me, for real, for real. That was like really the only thing I had. Like, you feel me?
Yeah. And using that, people, did they tell you that it meant something to them, or was it just kind of like only personally for you?
No, like the neighborhood really super loved that shit. Like the neighborhood loved the shit out of that shit. I had a song called 400 Bars, cause I make beats too. So like me and my homie was making beats and shit. Like, and yeah, 400 Bars. We put it up on Twitter like after I did it in the studio. And that shit kind of went a little viral and all that. Like, when I seen everybody's reaction, it just was like, you know, confirmation. Like, damn, I might have something for real. And it wasn't even like particularly about that for real for me, because like I really was going through shit. So like that shit was really my coping mechanism for real. Like, and then I made a song, Brick Thoughts, where I put all my homies' name in the rap. So like when I did that, niggas was calling me gifted after that. Like, and my homie made the beat, my man Brill. So like what we was creating was like super organic, because like my man's making my beats, you feel me? So like I was really able to like carve my own sound in this shit. Like I wasn't just, feel me, hopping on other niggas' beats. Like I was doing that at first real early on, like, cause my cousin was rapping first and shit, and he was the one that really sparked that shit in me, Zeb Carps. He was the one that sparked that shit in me. Like, he always used to tell me, Kyle, spit that shit. Like, and I didn't even know, like, I wasn't even thinking about rapping at all, bro. Like, I wasn't even thinking about rapping at all when he used to tell me that shit.
Talk about how, you know, you're making beats, you're breaking into artistry. In Philadelphia, how easy is it to kind of gain traction and to kind of build a name for yourself and a reputation as an artist? And were you using social media primarily, or how were you circulating yourself?
Yeah.
And also, can you try to face the microphone so people can hear you clearly?
Yeah. Well, early on, I was in Dollar Boys. I was in this group called Dollar Boys. They had the wave back in the day, like throwing parties and shit. Like, and really, what gravitated me towards Dollar Boys was cause I wanted to learn how to make flyers. I wanted to learn how to create the graphics for that shit. I was always interested in that part, like, of it. So like with me trying to find out who was making the graphics, it turned out like it was Dollar Boys that was doing all that shit. Like, so I reached out to their graphic artists. None, like, they wasn't really responding. They wasn't really talking. It wasn't really like, you know.
You gotta face that microphone a little bit more, yeah.
They wasn't really like embracing me like on some young boy shit, trying to learn that shit. Cause like it was like the sauce back in the day. Like, niggas wasn't trying to share that sauce, like, on how to make graphics. So I ended up teaching myself how to do that shit, you feel me? But like, I did join, when I joined Dollar Boys, it was on some movie shit. Like, yeah, I was like real creative growing up, bro. Like, I used to make my own fun, like had my homies act in movies and shit. Like, my mom had this camera and like we made this little movie or whatever. Like, so like people like in school knew like they wanted to be in my next movie, slight way. So like people used to fuck with me because of that. Like, cause like the movie was a little dope. It was just like us running around with little BB guns and shit like that, you know. But it was decent because it was like authentic shit. We just kids like doing shit. You feel me? So like ended up making like 2 movies and all that. You know, on Facebook, uploaded them on Facebook, and they was popping on Facebook. This like real early on. It's like 7th grade, 6th grade probably.
Yeah.
Probably before that, bro. Probably like 5th grade, bro. Like real early on. Like select few people know about that shit, bro. That video is still on Facebook to this day, bro. Yeah, my movie is still on Facebook to this day. Little bullshit, low quality, John, but it's a vibe though. Like RP my nigga Maj, for real. Like Maj was like my right hand. That was my heart. My best friend ended up passing away and shit.
So pretty much throughout everything, you were always trying to find different ways of expressing your creativity. You know,
Exactly.
graphics design, movies, artistry, which is kind of like, you know, what every really successful person does in the entertainment scene is they have their hands in multiple bags and they become successful at least one of them majorly, and then they can kind of subcategory into everything else. Like I think even Will Smith started off as a rapper, right?
Yep.
Him and DJ what's his name, Jazzy Jeff, which is fucking hilarious when you really think about it. But then he got into acting and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And he just put himself into so many different ventures and became successful at a lot of them. Talk about you were featured with Meek Mill in a couple music videos.
Yeah, Meek put me in a few vids. I got my first opportunity being in Atlanta. I got my first opportunity being in Atlanta, like just being in Atlanta, and ended up meeting Spike Jordan, the director.
Mm-hmm.
So Spike Jordan gave me that opportunity to be a part of his promo campaign when he was what video was that? That was probably like one of them Dream Chasers Jones where he was doing movies and all that. He was like shooting cinematic shit for his John. I had got like a little role at the dice game or whatever. Like it wasn't really much, but you know it was an opportunity for real. Like it was like early on to me going to Atlanta and you know running around, trying to connect with the right people and whatever. Like I really look up to Spike Jordan. I ain't going front. Like bro, he really looked out with that shit. You feel me? To this day he still be tapped in with me, like good people or whatever. But the most recent video I was in was "Hate on Me" by Meek, and it was just on some me and my folks pulled up, and I got a little cameo in there real quick. It's like if you know, you know. Like I don't ever really tell people about it. It's just like if you know, you know. If you see me in that joint, you see me or whatever. But yeah, Meek folks.
All right, look, finish rolling that blunt because you're not. I notice it's hard for you to do it while you're looking at the microphone.
Oh yeah.
We want to make sure you come out crispy, so just take a couple minutes to roll that up.
Yeah, I'm done now.
You got it?
Yep, we
All
good.
All right, cool. What's this? 1 second. Yeah, man. Multiple bags is a good thing, and you know, putting yourself in the right places at the right times. To be in a Meek Mill video, I mean, it's not just like anybody can just be in anything, you know. So you're putting yourself in the right places. Obviously, you have good energy, so people want you around. Talk about the progression of your music career, through the timeline of it, and the most moments that you were seeing success.
The most moments I see success is when I do my projects. Cause like that's like how I am. Like that's how I base my whole thing around like big projects. Feel me? Like I ain't just trying to put out a whole bunch of singles. I wanna have a right campaign for it. For real. Like it's really all about the project. What's the next project? Like I'm like project based with this shit. That's really how I feed my inner child for real. That's the key to this shit. Like feeding your inner child, having imagination and, you know, going out and doing it and having fun with it. You feel me? Like this shit ain't so serious. It's really fun. It's creative shit. So
Yeah.
I had fun with this shit, bro. Like I wouldn't want to be doing nothing else in my life. Like, but what I'm doing, creating. And what I say when you say you a creative, like you on some savage shit for real. Like, cause now it's like, who the fuck do you think you is? Like, what the fuck do you got to offer? Like, there's 1,000 other motherfuckers with dreads and tattoos that, you feel me, do this and do that. Like, shit, you really gotta stand out now. Like, so like, with me just coming up, being like the kid that I was, that's why this hat and stuff that we doing now is just so effortless to me now because I've been doing it and I've been kind of already knew where I was going like with this shit.
Yeah, that's a thing that I always paid attention to the people that are trying to match up with what's going on in the current wave, right? So like a lot of artists will pay attention to what established artists are doing, or they're paying attention to what the scene is doing, and they'll try to mimic it instead of being themselves and expressing who they truly are, right? So
Exactly.
At the end of the day, though, that's why people never really stand out and branch out, because they're trying to be like everybody else, or they're too scared to really showcase their personality. So look at the artists that are most successful in the world. They have something very distinguishable and very, very different about them, and that's most likely why they branched out and became successful or became prominent. Doughboys Cash Out is an interesting group, though, because they stuck to just being a Detroiter and really showcasing what a Detroiter is, and they really became successful off that. But that's like an anomaly. That's super rare to be just totally representative of what A lot of people are like in Detroit and really break it out. Separating yourself like Asada Baby is a very interesting thing to do, but a lot of people are different and they just don't express it because they're afraid of, the return that they're going to get from people watching. So for you, you're basically kind of saying like, you have to stand out, you have to be different, but it has to be organic at the same time.
Exactly. Right? It gotta be authentic. Like, shit can't be so played out. You feel me? Like, shit can't be so, it feel fake. Like, I know when shit is fake from the rip. Like, I'm gonna pay attention to this shit. I'll be like, you forcing it. You're not being yourself. You being what they want you to be. Or you trying to be something that you ain't for real. And I'm real hip to that shit, real. Like, I'm hip to that shit for real. Cause like, being in Philly, it's like a lot of grimy shit that go on. You feel me? So like, and then you trying to be a rapper, that's a dangerous ass situation. You for real. Like when you say you trying to do this rap shit, that shit get dangerous. You feel me? All type of nut shit happen like with this rap shit.
Is it just because you become a rapper that stuff becomes dangerous, or like what makes it start becoming dangerous?
Cause man, like it be the clout. It be the people that want clout too bad. That want it too much. That want to be famous. Everybody want to be a star. Nobody want to be who they are. You feel me? So it's on the type time like niggas that grow like niggas that be obsessed with that shit for real. Like, and they'll want it so bad. They'll just want that shit so bad, and they'll just like, feel me? Niggas just be hating. A lot of niggas just be hating. Like, you feel me? It's a rare case where, you know what I mean, you gonna have a group of niggas that ain't hating, or you feel me, shit like that for real, or it ain't no it ain't no like nut shit, slimy shit going on, or just a bunch of nut shit for real. Like, it's rare to find people. It's rare to find good people. It's hard to find good people, bro. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, with being an entrepreneur, you gotta find the right people. That's what it's about. It's not about finding all the people. It's about finding the right people.
Yeah. I remember there was a point where I was hanging around a lot of people that had that fuck him mentality, or they had a mentality where like, no, like I was really around people that would be like, I don't care about that business transaction I made. I'm gonna get one over on that person. Like, I remember being around people that would do that. They would basically kind of trick people or scam or be dishonest or not give what they said they would give or whatever. And I remember I was around it so much that at one point it clicked in my brain to do the same thing for a second. I was like, man, forget that guy. Like, I'm gonna handle him however I want to handle him. I'm me. I can do whatever I want to do. But then I stopped myself right there and I said, like, nah, I'm not gonna be that person. I'm not gonna be that person to get over on somebody or trick somebody or be deceitful to somebody just for some money, or because I don't, want to promote them or do whatever I got to do for them. Now I'm at the point wherever I said I owe you, I owe you. Like, whatever I told you I owe you, I'm gonna give you that. I'm not gonna do that thing where there's some trickery involved, or no, I don't feel like doing it no more, or who's this guy anyway? He doesn't have enough followers or whatever to do anything about it. No, that's not right. That's never been right. So you're right. It's very hard to find like genuine, authentic people in it. But you look like you know where it's at. You look like you have a good sense of people. Like your energy is in the right place, right? Have you been networking the way you want to network, or has it still been difficult?
I've been networking the way like I can, at least. Things that's in my control. Like, I don't really worry about things that ain't really too much in my control, because like that shit'll drive you nuts for real. You start worrying about too much shit that is just not in your control. Like you not God, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the universe gonna assist you if you acting genuine, if you're being yourself, if you following your heart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the universe is going to assist you. Feel me? So that's how I move. Like, I don't force nothing. I don't try to force a nigga to fuck with me or none of that shit. Cause like, man, when you doing the right shit, it's just gravitate towards you for real. Like, feel me? Like, it's just, you gotta be authentic though. You gotta be real. You can't be trying to portray something you ain't. That shit don't work. At least it don't last. It might work for a little bit, but that type of shit don't ever last. Like, that shit go by quick. You feel me? I'm
Yeah.
trying to practice longevity. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
People are trying to get short-term money and destroy a long-term career. Like, you could have had something big, but instead you went after something that's just, it was in front of you at the moment, and then you ended everything else because of that. People are like burning bridges for no reason these days, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit don't be about the money. This shit can't be about the money. You feel me? Like, being a creative, it can't necessarily be about how much money you gonna make, or you can't even be thinking like that. Like, you fucking up the flow. You fucking it up thinking too much on planning this out and strategizing a little too much, a little too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, I'm tired of seeing that shit. Like, you gotta do good business too. Like you was saying, like, you gotta have your word. You gotta stand on your word. You gotta do good business. You do good business, you gonna get blessed. That's it. Good business is always good business. Good business is never not good business. If you're doing good business.
I wonder if it's the labels, bro. I wonder if at the end of the day, it's just because, you know, like label owners, most of them, like, not a lot of them are creatives. They're just very, very money managed people.
Exactly.
And they like, no, okay, I can take this person and I can do all these transactions with this person to make more money and more money. But at the end of the day, like, they don't know artistry or creativity. So they don't give a damn about it either, for real. They just care about money, which is not a problem. Like, if you care about money, you care about money, but they can never really understand what creativity, and that's probably why the music game got so messed up. It probably got so messed up is because the guys who are running the show don't know anything about music.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we need more for us, by us. We need by us, for us shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The creatives. The creatives need to stick together and mastermind. The real creatives. Not no fucking exec that can't even dress. You feel me? Like,
yeah.
no, that shit ain't that. That shit ain't that. They can't bullshit me. Like, I ain't about to listen to no nigga that ain't really got the results that I want or whatever. Like, you feel me? Or fucking that's beneficial to your whole program. Like, I look at people as programs.
Yeah.
Everybody running on their own program. Some people got bad programs. Some people got good programs. Some people got okay programs. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. Some people just got bad programs, and I could read I read energy well, so I'm gonna know if somebody, like, necessarily program ain't aligned with mine, and it's just like, why do I even need to talk to you? Why do I need to, speak?
Exactly.
Like, this shit that I'm focused on big, like, I'm focused on projects, like I said. So, being project based, you gotta have the right people around you. Like, it's real important. You feel me? Especially on some creative shit. Like, your mastermind gotta be right. You can't play with this shit. You can't play with this shit. You gotta be all in too.
Yeah.
You can't halfway do this shit neither. It's like, you can't halfway do this shit. It might not go nowhere if you halfway do it. You gotta 100% do it and 100% be confident in it too. You feel me? Like,
it's all in, dude. You got to be all in. You got to quit your job, bro, and shit like that. Like, you don't have to quit it right away, but you got to, like, find a point where, like, all right, man, this is working out to some degree. Let's jump in.
no, for real, you got a plan. Like, what they say, Jews believe, like, you only supposed to work, like, 7 years. Something
7
like
years?
that. Some shit like that, yeah.
Damn.
Like, where you only supposed to work for 7 years. Like, you supposed to see what it feel like to have a job. You supposed to put yourself in a worker position before you become boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't go from, worker to boss so quick. That shit don't work like that. You gotta put the actual work in. Like, what they say, it take 10,000 hours to be great at something. You feel me? So you actually gotta put time in. Like, shit just don't happen so quick. And that's what they see nowadays. They see shit happen so quick. So, like, it fuck them up because they like, damn, that nigga just, like, he just started talking on a microphone and look at what he doing.
Right.
Look at what he doing. Like, so, like,
Well, it's because it does happen, right? Like, very, very rarely, like, as rare as, like, a lottery win, there are people who go on TikTok and blow up overnight. But the thing is, the longevity is usually not there. Usually it's like they burst it out, but then all of a sudden everything fizzled out within, like, a month or two.
Exactly.
So, but for somebody else watching that, they might be like, whoa, he blew up. But it's like, bro, you don't realize that dude's not making any money for real.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that just looks like what happened, but it's not really what's going on.
Real shit.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
motherfuckers ain't figured out how to even have a brand for real. Just like, I had one item, and that one item will go, on TikTok or whatever. Like, they one TikTok will get popular. And
Nah, bro. When you come to Detroit, you're gonna learn something, man. A lot of people that have the lowest amount of Instagram followers actually end up making the most amount of money because they're so tapped in with their network and they really know how to make stuff happen, and they really, really are responsible with that, with whatever they're coordinating or whatever they're producing. They're so responsible for it, and they put it out in such a great way that they don't need 100,000 followers. They could have 20,000 followers, but guess what? When they throw an event, 10,000 people are going to be at that event versus the dude who has 100,000 followers that might be really funny, but he can't pull anybody to the show. He might be a decent rapper with 100,000 followers, but he's not bringing anybody to show. But I know people like Willie J. Peso doesn't have the craziest following of all time, but he makes events happen. He fills up places. You know what I'm saying? So following and money are two different things. Like how much traction somebody has is not equivalent to their followers.
Exactly.
Talk about, you were on Sway in the Morning.
I was on a show where they called me on the phone,
Yeah,
and played like 2 of my songs for the audience, and the audience called in and said put him in a game or sit him on a bench. So like basically people from all across the world was calling in saying, yeah, put him in the game. Yeah, put him in the game. Like they played Kill Switch. They played my song Kill Switch, and that was 2018. That was a minute ago.
that's still, I mean, it's still pretty cool. How much jump did you see in your engagement after that, or like people tapping in with you?
All around the world. Like I had, while I was playing, like I was getting like people up from all over the world hit me up. Like I just heard you on the, I don't know who you is, but you know you nice, keep going or whatever. So, you know, it's motivation. It was motivation.
What projects are you working on right now?
I'm working on Baby Goat 2. I'm working on Triple C's, and I'm focusing on getting these summer clothes out. We just had these sweatsuits that we did that I got on the 5-Star General. So now we about to do like the 5-Star General shirts and shirts and, you know, more hats. We about to have more colors with the hats and shit.
Cool.
All our hats is going to have technology in them, like all our hats. None of our hats will be regular.
Talk about the first Baby Goat.
The first Baby Goat, what they had on there, shit like gold, lemon pepper wings. I had a song called Lemon Pepper Wings that popped, like, got super pop and, like, was on World Star and shit. And I had got reached out from Dirk. You know, he had hit me up, like, Lemon Pepper Wings. I'm like, damn, like, that's love. Like, I had recently had deleted my Instagram, like, right before I noticed that Dirk hit me up. I go back on Instagram. I go to my DMs, Dirk, like, Lemon Pepper Wings. That shit was love, and I responded. It was like 2 days after he even sent me the DM. I responded. Then he like, go look at my Insta Snap. He posted me on his Insta Snap, but he ain't tagged me. You feel me? But, you know, motherfuckers in the hood was looking like, damn, like, Kyle about to get signed. Like, everybody was thinking I was about to get signed at that moment, bro. Like, Baby Goat 1 was perceived well, bro. I was the first person to call myself Baby Goat. Literally, the first person to call myself Baby Goat. It's stamped on the platforms. Well, nobody really saying that shit before. Now everybody's saying that shit now, but
What
they
year
know
was
who
that?
OG. They know what that came out in 2017. Baby Goat came out 2017. I dropped 1999 Theory in 2016. That was 17 songs, no features for real.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my starting project. So niggas know my workload. Like when I go to the studio, like I don't go to play. Like I'm not going to go in there and sit down and, you feel me, smoke all day and bullshit with bitches in the studio. Like I ain't on that. Like if I go to the studio, I'm coming with all my shit ready. Like I could do motherfucking. It was one time I did motherfucking like 8 songs in 3 hours and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to work. Like and that shit just it come natural to me. I ain't going front because like I be writing. And, like, I just come with my shit ready. Like, I like to be in there on some get straight to it shit because I know how niggas are coming there and bullshit. Like, back in the day, I was paying for studio time. So, it was like, I ain't really coming to play, like, or with this money, bro. Like, I ain't coming here and sitting down and, feel me, trying to think of a song on the spot too much. Like, I wasn't on that. So, like, being like that real early on made me a beast, made me a monster with this shit. And now, like, being as though I know how to make beats, I was able to teach myself how to record super fast. Feel me? And I invested into the equipment. And now it's like I wake up and get songs done. I bring my studio out here. Like, I got my studio out here with me right now. I made 5 songs while I was out here. You feel me?
Wow.
So now I'm ready to just travel around the world with my studio and get inspired from what I do and talk about that shit more. So like being real, a little bit more present now, like with my shit. Like I ain't really planning out like writing this and no, it's just like I talk about what I do now. I talk about regular shit. I talk about, feel me, the shit that I'm on now. Like chasing this dream, like sacrificing everything for this shit, for real. Like,
Yeah.
and it's all come out in my music. Like, you feel me? I'm able to, like, music like a shit talking contest, for real. So that shit is like a shit talking contest, but it's art too. It's not really just talking shit all day, like, you feel me? But it's who can pop it the best. It's like who could finesse it the right way and who's just gonna have that thing, you know what I mean? Like, there's always a whole bunch of songs that come out every day. But
yeah, that's true. And social media has been the biggest, I guess, separator these days. Because before, like, to get on the radio or get on MTV or get on, like, the major stations, man, I don't even know what it took. A major label had to sign you and knew how to place you, and you had to have been able to draw crowds. Like, you couldn't just get on for no reason type shit. You had to have established yourself in a major way in order to get on these platforms. But nowadays, you can kind of be on some, like, you know, not that most talented of an artist these days and still be super successful, just like you said. If you put out yourself out there the right way, like, if you really put yourself out there the right way, you don't have to be super talented anymore, which is it's kind of not cool. I don't really like that much, but you don't have to be as talented as you did in the early 90s and the 2000s and 2010s even to be successful as an artist or an entertainer. You can have like not that much creative or skill or talent, and you can be way more successful than somebody who's super talented. So it's a very interesting time right now. I'm hearing some artists where I'm very confused, bro. I'm sitting there, I'm going like, what are you guys finding in this? Like, what I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, I'm really listening to what you're saying in your song. I'm really listening to how you're saying it, but it's just not hitting for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's listening to this, but it's not me and it's not my friends. So it must be these kids that just like, this is what they grew up on. So therefore, you know, you might show them some 90s music and they might not mess with it, these 90s kids. I mean, showing kids 90s music. So I guess I can see it. Like if I pull up Biggie or Tupac to my little cousin, he might be like, that's whack. He might be like, that Eminem's whack. You know, he might say that. But for us, we might be looking at this new generation like, nah, this is whack, bro. Like, this sucks. Like, this isn't no creativity in this shit.
it's like substance nowadays.
There's
no substance to the shit. It's just like, what the fuck about listening to little such and such, or what the fuck about listening to this little nigga for? Like, what the fuck can you offer me? Like, I like to get Gabe. I like to get gay when I listen to niggas. Like, I love Nipsey, you feel me? Like, I was listening to Nipsey as like a young boy, you feel me? Like, before everybody really was even on Nipsey for real. Like, I was listening to Nip, like, getting game from him in the music, because Nip was one of them niggas that was going to give you game in music. Like, really try motherfucking give you a game plan. Like, them jewels, them nuggets that he dropping them in that music, like, yeah, that's the type of shit that I grew up on. Like, Mac, Beanie Single, and like, feel me, they talk about real pain, like, pain music, bro. Like, it wasn't just, feel me, I'ma shoot this nigga, I'ma do that, it just wasn't straight based on that, you feel me? It's the story, it's legacy, man. This shit about legacy, bro.
Yeah. I guess the drill music, one thing I will give it is it rips right through you, which is interesting because it's very hard to find music that just cuts right through, like, you know, a really sharp blade coming at you type music. Gets your energy up. It's like free coffee, right? Sometimes when you listen to drill music. So I kind of do get that aspect, but I do, like I said, once it's overwhelming, once it comes to a certain point, there's too much coffee in the system, and you're overstimulated at that point. It's not healthy for your system. It's not healthy for your system in any way to constantly be listening to negative things, to be listening to violent things or things that are just like of bad energy or bad aura. Like, if you're talking about things that don't provide any peace or easefulness so constantly, eventually it's going to corrupt whoever's listening to it or whoever's consuming it. When I used to listen to Tupac, bro, you used to get like barely any of that. Like, maybe when Hit 'Em Up started and like the Biggie problems started happening, that's when I started noticing like Tupac changed a lot. You know, he changed his mentality, he changed the way he would address media and the public and stuff like that. And it was he still kept it fire though, even though he was going kind of crazy. But I love one line from Tupac on Straight Ballin'. He said, I'm in a bucket, but I'm riding it like it's a Benz. And that kind of changed my mentality because when I was like not making too much money, I said like, bro, it doesn't matter where I'm at. Like you got to live life to the fullest no matter what situation you're in. Even if you're driving a raggedy car, ride it like you're riding a Benz, ride it like you're riding the top of the world. You know, even if your girlfriend ain't good looking, right, you still got to hit it like it is good looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to go crazy, son. But that's what it is, man. You got to live life to your full potential regardless of what the situation is if you want to get out of the situation you're in. It's been awesome talking to you, man. Is there any future projects you want to announce to everybody?
This Baby Goat 2 on the way, and look out for Faces Global. Go to facesglobal.com.
Yeah, man. Is there anybody you want to shout out before we close out, bro?
South Philly. Shout out to South Philly. Shout out to the small side. Shout out to everybody back home. Shout out to everybody holding us down across the globe with Faces. Shout out to the supporters, the real day ones, the ones that was listening to 1999 Theory and Break Thoughts and bullshit on SoundCloud and all that type of shit. You feel me? So
for the Detroiters watching this, man, what's your favorite part about Detroit, or what's your favorite part about the Detroit culture?
Hustle. I love y'all hustle. Love y'all grind. Love y'all ambition. Feel me? I love niggas' mentality and how they, you feel me, out here like come from so shit and made sugar. You feel me? I love that shit.
When you're listening to a Detroit song, because a lot of people that are from the city that they're from just really like to listen to their own music because their relatability is high. Do you feel a relatability at all when you listen to Detroit music?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I relate to that shit because you can't teach that type shit. You can't teach everything. You feel me? It's just some shit you can't teach, some shit you can't learn. Feel me? And I understand like a true motherfucker grinder when I see one. I relate to that super. You feel me? I've been a grinder since a little nigga, so I relate to that shit. You feel me? And not too many niggas give you that shit like how Detroit got it. Like I fuck with the beats. I love the Detroit beats, the swag on the beats. I love the D. I'm gonna be coming out here more. I'm gonna definitely be out here a little more.
How long are you staying here for this time?
I've been out here for probably like 3 days.
What's you been hitting the restaurants? Are you staying in the Detroit area? Which area?
Yeah, I went out to the Brazil spot. Crazy. They was bringing all different types of lamb.
Texas Day Brazil.
Yeah, bringing all different types of lamb chop meat. They coming around with filet mignons and all different type of meats, and I just stumbled upon that place. Like I wasn't even gonna go there. I just stumbled upon it, so that shit was a vibe. I ain't going front, but that's literally probably what I had went to this other little spot when I first got down here. My boy took me to and shit. Like it was some good ass soul food. It was stay open at 2 a.m. I'm down there. I'm like, damn, it ain't no spots like this in Philly. Like Detroit, a vibe. Like it wasn't even really much, but it just was like. Man, that shit was epic. Like the food was good as shit. I had to get takeout, but it just was like it was late as shit. I was gonna go to the Jadakiss concert. Jadakiss was just down here at the Fox Theater. I was gonna go there, but it ended up getting late when I landed and shit. So yeah, I needed to get food more than I needed to go to the motherfucking concert. So
damn,
the food was good.
Yeah, food here is fire, man. That's one thing about Detroit food is magnificent. If you do like Texas Day Brazil, another restaurant you should check out is like Fogo de Chao. It's like the same concept, but there's different types of food. But yeah, Detroit. If you're in the city, man, you know the Conies popping off over here. Conies go crazy, but the lamb chops at the strip club, bro. If you ever get a minute. Hit the strip clubs and get some lamb chops. You'll have a good time, bro. Mashed potatoes and gravy at all. Bro, Philly, it's been great to have you on, man. Kyle Robertson's been in the building today. Talk about the brand one more time, the name of it.
Faces Global. Faces Global Invisible War Collection. Sure. The only black-owned brand that's producing technology headwear in the world.
Damn. For sure, man. I appreciate you for being on this. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Low Visuals and shooting these productions. We're out. Peace.